Hey, this is this. And if you've noticed, there's a picture of a hard drive on there, and there's a reason why. Or if you looked at the title, you already know. Yeah, information on Xbox One just came out not that long ago, and it's not good for Microsoft. It is really, really not good. Now, every information I get on the Xbox One, I researched it to looking through the internet or used the demo that they had over at my somewhat local GameStop, which is about 40, close to 50 miles away from me. And, well, I know some people who have one and they're not happy and they've complained and they've actually put up. That's how I found out about the usernames. I mean, about the crappy friends list, and of course the whole no memory management, which has been proven in this article, and I'll put a link in the below, as well as the lack of voice messaging people, which still eludes me to why Xbox One is selling so well because this console, as of now, with this new information, has been proven to be nothing but a horrible, horrible purchase. But yet people are still buying this thing and they're proving that they like to get butt fucked by Microsoft. Some people are saying that the Wii U is worse, but with the Wii U, yeah, you had a 32 gig and an 8 gig hard drive, flash hard drive that you couldn't remove, but you can at least hook up an external hard drive, which was said by Microsoft to have support will be given to external hard drives somewhere next year or in 2014. I think people are going to need it now after they read this article. And they're really going to need that external hard drive support now because it is bad. It is really, really bad. It's basically, for me, the final nail in the coffin for my Xbox One and how stupid everybody was buying them. Because this is the worst case of memory management I have ever seen or even read about in my entire fucking life. And yet, people are still buying this junk. I mean, it's like looking at the abusive wife who keep coming up with excuses to, why her husband beats her and shit like that. And it's just pathetic and sad. And I've seen that situation before. Believe me, I have. And that's all these aren't even fanboys. These are people who have culminated themselves from. I mean, I'll admit it. The 360 was a good console, even though it came from Microsoft. And I hated the 360, but yeah, it was a good console, mainly because the PlayStation 3 was an absolute piece of shit. So a lot of people got themselves into this thinking and stuck to it and believing that the only way you can play Call of Duty, the only way you can play Call of Duty is on an Xbox. You cannot do it on anything else. You have to do it on Xbox, and there's just nothing else out there that will allow you to do it. Or you can only do online gaming on Xbox, and everything else just doesn't exist, and it's basically like an addiction. You can't do multiplayer on anything else. You have to do it on an Xbox, or you're gonna suffer twitches and be almost like watching a person get off of drugs, just sit there just like shaking and everything. Like you can only multiplayer on first person shooters, Xbox only, and they just can't get off of it. The problem is that it's going to change no matter what you do, and you're just going to have to deal with this. Now, what am I talking about? Well, it's just come out that IGN was doing some tests on the Xbox hard drive. Most likely, they took out the hard drive and then hooked it up to a computer and did some testing on it. And what they found was that with the Xbox hard drive and the amount of hard drive that space that was left, Now, the PlayStation 4, I believe, takes up about 100 gigs, maybe even a little less, because, they got extra stuff on there, mainly background stuff. Because with the 500 gig hard drive, I wound it up with, I believe, 488. And then I put it in a 1 terabyte hard drive, and I had about 800 gigs. And that was before I started install. But with the Xbox One, you cannot remove the hard drive. It's on a shockwave pad. I've seen the disabled videos where they took the Xbox One and just tore it apart, and I saw where they put the hard drive. So I really don't need someone like David Jordan keep asking me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when I've seen the teardown videos. I've seen the placement of the hard drive. It's right there. Just do a YouTube search on Xbox One teardown videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's not that hard to look up, David. I don't want to complain because I'm really not trying to make enemies out of people, but I am sick and tired of being told this. But anyways, specs alone and the specs that Microsoft released, we know that it's a 500 gig hard drive. And of course, the teardown videos proved that it was a 500 gig hard drive, and it's exactly the same as what's in the PS4. But yet, the PS4, you can remove that hard drive easily. How do I know that? Well, I've seen the teardown videos of the PS4, as well as having a PS4 myself. And I replaced my hard drive with a 1 terabyte hard drive easily, and it didn't interfere with the warranty, and it was just simple, except for the screw parts. But I mean, they really bolted that thing in there. Well, I mean, tightened those screws in there. But yeah, besides that, it was easy, except for the somewhat having to use the USB drive. But it was still a good option, and I liked it. But anyways, the PlayStation 4 used about 100 gigabytes. Now, or at least in someone in that realm. Now, the Xbox One, when tested by IGN and then later collaborated by other sources, did this test on the Microsoft hard drive, either by most likely by taking it out. They found with just the operating system, the Xbox One had about only 362 gigabytes left, or even more and somewhat less. But it's twice the amount of hard drive space taken from the hard drive, and they had to take the hard drive out because there was no memory management. In fact, IGN in the article kept complaining about the lack of memory management, which, by the way, Microsoft said they're going to bring in on a later update. They didn't bring it on their current update. They're just going to bring it on a later update and then fix the problem. They've actually gone out and said that. I mean, the Wii U lets you know how much of the hard drive space is in both your external and your internal hard drive. And of course, PlayStation 4 has its own internal, memory management, but Xbox One, none. But now it's been proven with the three operating systems that they use that they taking up a lot of space in that 500 gig hard drive and only left 362 gigs. As for me and my 1 terabyte hard drive, I have about 700 gigs left, maybe 600. Sorry, I just checked. I have about 860 gigs left in my hard drive, so I've got a lot of memory space. And that's mainly because I filled it up with the games. And I pretty much already got all my games in there and saved shit on there. But with Microsoft, you only gonna have about 362 gigs, and it's going to fill up fast. And you're just going to have to delete information because Microsoft, with their own words, have repeatedly said that external hard drive support will come about 2014. So you really are going to be on a limited hard drive with the Xbox One. So great purchase, guys. Wonderful purchase, and keep defending this goddamn crappy product every time it has a complete and utter failure. And even though Sony comes with a 500 gig hard drive, it still has more gig space in it than the fucking Xbox One. This move doesn't make any sense for Microsoft. Well, alright, in a nutshell, it kind of does. But the people who keep defending it and who cannot who are stuck in this repetitive overlap bullshit of just repeatedly saying that Xbox One that you can only multiplay on an Xbox, or you can only play Call of Duty on an Xbox, seriously needs to shut up. Because look at this thing. It's a mess. I'll put the article in a link below so you can just read the fucking clusterfuck that this thing is. And ask yourself, why are people still defending this after this information comes out? I can understand the Xbox fanboys, but the people who are saying you can only do multiplayer on Xbox or you can only do Call of Duty on Xbox seriously need to shut the fuck up. See ya.